Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick, and it is time to discuss some Splinterlands. Today we are taking a look at a clip from our live stream on Twitch, going into a deep dive regarding bot farms after reading a new article from the Hive blog that goes into detail about potential for the largest of all bot farms in the Splinterlands ecosystem to be shut down at the end of this season and the potential implications that that would have for the game at large. So I invite you to grab yourself a drink and sit back and enjoy. This is going to be a lengthy discussion that covers a lot of different aspects, and I do warn you that it is from a live, uncensored stream on my own channel, and that I have some potentially unpopular opinions, but I do invite dissent, and I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree, in the comments below. And in the meanwhile, thank you very much for your time, and have a great day. Here we go.
Unprofitable, seemingly defeated, and sitting on more than 32 million collection power. The beginning of the end for bot farms is here. No, it was not the idea of soulbound rewards cards to be implemented in the coming months. It was a matter of profitability. More importantly, the lack thereof. What's good, Bushwhack? Hey, thank you, man. I see the hard work you've been doing. You, Jim, and BBT fucking, getting my name out there and whatnot and spreading. I appreciate y'all. I just want to, stop what I'm reading here for a second and say that, both of y'all and BBT as well. Appreciate y'all. The A-Team is being suspended and likely sunsetted altogether, if the words of their owner-operator are to believed. A-Team, of course, being the biggest bot farm in the game. So this is something I had no idea about, and it was being spoken about earlier on Splinterlands TV, and I wasn't able to really be paying that much attention. I just kind of happened to catch the link getting dropped, and so I loaded it up real quick, and then I was able to give about half of it a, cursory first glance once over, and I liked what I saw. So now I'm very excited to actually, dig into this. But basically, what now? The biggest bot farm in the game has been, or is being shut down, and maybe permanently. And in many ways, this is a great thing for the game. In many ways, it might not be. Like, I know there's a lot of people who think bot farms don't add anything to the game, but I'm not one to go that far. I'm not one to say that they don't add anything. They are, problematic in a number of ways for sure. But, they're also the source of cheap cards. Like, you can directly thank this guy for being able to buy Oceanus for $2. Like, that's a real thing, and that's something that we're all taking advantage of, and most of us are not thinking about who's on the other end of that. And yeah, it is also kind of shitty because that's, also what's pushing the value of our collections down. But for someone who doesn't currently own any cards, I like it better with them being cheap. So, just saying. It was the investigator prosecutor actually engaging with the perpetrator for all to see in Splinterlands Discord, not in the Mavericks house, but in the tavern. It was an engagement that was completely ignored as other conversations were taking place, but it was the most important conversation to be had, and nobody realized it until an hour later. For those of us unfamiliar with the A-Team bot farm, below are a few articles detailing the operations of the largest bot farm in Splinterlands. This was a bot farm that was engaged in win trading, and if you have purchased rewards cards, you have likely purchased a card from this farm. The discovery that win trading involved a multi-seller operation. The impact of win trading bot farms. The A-Team making adjustments to ranked rewards changes. Why are rentals so expensive? The A-Team is inflating prices. A bot farm that comes back after the A-Team is busted. So we can take a look at these as well if y'all want to. I mean, I'm just the one on camera. I'm not the one in charge of this stream. Y'all know that. The A-Team had multiple seller accounts with a master account, ANH Dayton 146, and a holding account, Philip-Do. Bringing attention to the holding account of the A-Team to show how bot farms have a lot of assets to possibly dump resulted in an unexpected response and engagement. All right, so I don't actually know most of the names that are involved with what is going on in this conversation, so I'm not going to pretend to admit that I know, or that, or fuck it. All right, Cruton. Plus, they can do automatic denial so they don't even have to bother verifying once they see that accounts are connected. Let them dump assets. If there's a time for them to dump assets, let it be now. And that is, first and foremost, that line right there. If there is a time to dump assets, let it be now, 100%. Because when shit starts taking off, we don't want any kind of hiccups like that in the way. So all in-print rewards in that account. So this is Philip-Do's cards, total valuable $42,180, $33,303,900 card power. Toan Volum says, well, I'm Philip-Do. How can I help you? Given that this is Discord, one would think this is a troll. At first, it was dismissed as being a troll, but searching history in Discord confirmed this, in fact, was not a troll. Cruton, very funny. Philip-Do is a holding account for Andadden's bot farm. Toan says, yes, I know that. From that season, we can't find battles in Silver League. We can't rent we rent cards, and maybe this season we don't make profit. That's the problem. Many bot services decided to run only in bronze. Maybe in the next season, we will stop running bots. So we're not like confirmed or anything like that everything is getting shut down, but we're also not even halfway through the article yet. Looking up the account confirmed that this was the owner operator of the A-Team. Oh, okay, that's how. Username Dimension 40 League Silver 3. I try in, I can't find battle. And we see it here. However, this came after 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Now the conversation itself actually starts. It starts with fronting coy language and disbelief. This opening engagement was meant to stroke the ego and get him talking. Mission accomplished. So, if you are actually an operator of that farm, you do know that your bot farm is the most talked about farm in Splinterlands, right? Yeah, I know. You only know how much I can earn. You don't know how much we spent on rental cards. And that is also, one of the, bots add nothing to the economy. Well, yeah, they're still renting cards, a lot of them. He believes that I do not know how transparent his operation is and how well I know it. I am trying to keep my cards close to the vest because outright giving him my answers may cause disengagement. I wanted to know if he was actually serious about shutting down and what he was going to do next. I also did not want him to know that I am the reason for his difficulties on September 9th. Well, now you know. And this is from Cruton. I don't know who Cruton is, actually, or how he is responsible for the difficulties on September 9th, or what happened September 9th, particularly. I've slept since then, at least twice. And then Cruton said, no, we can know everything. In fact, we do. So tell me some information that you know, like how much DEC we spent on rental cards for one day. The question above is a trick question, and I knew it because I have tracked his behavior. I was still in disbelief that the owner-operator of the most infamous bot farm was engaging with me. I'm not going to reveal that, but it's all traceable, and it varied per day. You changed your strategy several times. We know you were operating in volume, if it is indeed you. My disbelief would continue, and he continued to question my knowledge of his operations. I was not going to let him disengage because I wanted to know what he was going to do next. I'm not going to reveal that, but it's all traceable and it varied per day. You changed your strategy several times. We know you were operating... Okay, that's... Answer. We rent cards in the market and we make cards more valuable. Anyway, I've decided to stop running bots next season. That's why I'm here today to talk to you. Let's see if I stop running bot, will the market follow your predictions? And then Cluton replied, for all we know, you could just be some troll. Just know that we know. I don't troll you. I know how many people can dig into my bots, but from what I know, you can't. Hey, what's good, Vanguards? We are deep diving into this article, a conversation that happened in Discord, and shouldn't be too hard for you to catch up to where we're at. Also, if anyone wants to follow along, boop, boop, that's where we're at. All right, I was not trying to make it a challenge about my knowledge of his operations, and there was no point in having that sort of conversation. I was using my knowledge to keep him there and to get answers. Okay, that's fine. My point is that you're going to dump the cards if you are actually the operator and Splinterlands wasn't worth it anymore. While all this is happening, and this is the part that I got to in my own read-through, there's another conversation going on here, and I don't understand how it's relevant, but... since they took the time to clip it, I will take the time to read it. Rixan, I am excited to use my new Soulbound reward cards in Ranked, where I will be penalized for using the under-leveled ones, so my R shares will be lower, earning me fewer chests. Moonshot, is the mobile app not working for anyone else? Rixan, but if I win, I will get 0.4 SPS, or 2 cents. At Torin, I disagree. The higher leagues earn significantly more cards for both dailies and end of season. In the lower leagues, the drop rates are a lot higher up there. Silence said, I play champ, and I also have a gold and a silver account. They all earn cards at about the same rate. The higher leagues earn better cards faster, but they all seem to earn cards at about the same rate in my little accounts at least. Again, with that whole small sample size that I was referring to yesterday. Rixan, I'm excited to use... reward, or answering directly to that first quote, or as Sander the Great said, the reward cards could get a free pass on that reduction. That is actually a spicy take that I had not thought of before, but yeah, since they are the ones that are programming things in and whatnot, it could be that, you know, maybe there's a time limit on it, maybe it's a permanent thing, whatever, but the new reward cards that are soulbound, could, you know, have a kind of workaround for the level penalties. So that is a conversation for another time, but is also, definitely stick a pin in it. The largest bot farm operator is openly telling everyone he is suspending operations at the end of this season, and nobody seems to care. The biggest force in the secondary market, the lower levels of the game, and a major reason why so many new measures have been put into place is announcing the suspension of operations, and nobody blinks an eye. There are more statements made that are not surprising to anyone following the A-Team. Back to Toan Volan. If the bot run only in bronze, that means bot battles to bot, they don't battle to human. The result is the database is old, they will not use the new type of cards. The truth is that currently the new card doesn't seem to be strong enough, or my bot doesn't fight with humans, so I don't use the new cards. My bot is only using Chaos Legion cards mainly. And we have started seeing over the past few days that the bots are using more of the Rift Watchers cards. And I think that's partly, their databases are updating. There's more match history with Rift Watchers involved now. And maybe it just took a little while for it to start to bring in. Maybe the bots do outnumber the humans enough that... humans started using Rift Watchers immediately, because of course we did, because we were all excited about new fucking shiny toys. But it took a while for there to be enough matches for the new cards to even register in the bot's algorithms. I could absolutely see that kind of being the case, and that's why we're just starting to have the bots running Riftwatcher stuff now. And, I'm sure that they will get better and better with them over the next little bit as they begin to use them more and more, and then start feeding their own information back into that algorithm. So, I know that's not terribly surprising. Most matches are bot v bot. Toem Volem. Anyway, if you know an admin in Splinterlands Discord's group, let him create a group for bot farms. They will learn so much more than from Mavs. That actually is a brilliant idea. A bot farm channel in Splinterlands Discord. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that we would all learn a lot from it if, of course, they are forthcoming and actually communicate. And also if they're able to communicate clearly, which obviously not everybody has English as a first or even second language. So I definitely see that there's, some difficulties in translation and whatnot, but I do think that would actually be a great idea. He wants to create a group for bot farms in the Splinterlands Discord, which is an odd request. It's not hard to understand how the A-team works and extracts from the game. While the strategies have changed over time, the structure has not changed outside of adding the Comeout001 seller account. Explaining the A-team's importance. The A-team plays a large role in propping up the rental market. Those overpriced level 1 rave broods are being rented by the bots of the A-team. Humans are not renting as many cards as these farming accounts. The impact of the A-team going away will have repercussions. This will cause, if they go, there are going to be ripples. There are going to be things that come out of this over the next couple of seasons that nobody right now is actually going to be able to foretell. And if you think you know exactly how everything is going to go, then that is going to put you in a position, if you are correct, to make a lot of money. Because there's going to be a lot of things that are going down, and there's going to be a lot of things that are going up. And I believe that both of those are going to happen simultaneously. And because there is absolutely some manipulation that is going on within this, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can tell you I know what it is. I'm not making any calls on what's going up, what's going down. I'm calling it that there's gonna be a shakeup. You run a multi-layered operation that holds up the rental market. If you were to stop botting, would you ever consider just reallocating your assets? He would just rent the cards. So that means on that one account, we've already seen one account, 33 million card power could just be dumped onto the rental market, which that's really gonna hurt me, but we'll see. I mean, I just rent cards, right? And you're holding up the market. You realize that you're subsidizing everyone renting cards. You, Mahipit, Brabro / Daduk, and the spun-off farm from Daduk. Oh, Brabro's a botter? Well, that explains how he's as big of a whale as he is. And obviously, y'all know I run bots. Jim runs bots. I'm not anti-bot either. I think everybody knows that, but I'm just going to put it out there and say it for certain. Also, why am I not on my own channel on my view phone? The business model of the bot was pretty simple and straightforward toward the end of the run. Renting cards to earn rewards with a farming account, which will be quickly sold off to the market at the lowest prices by seller accounts. Unstake SPS to convert SPS into SwapHive. Take the earned DEC from seller accounts, send it to Ondaden, and convert it to SwapHive. Withdraw SwapHive. With the A-team gone, the rental market will be impacted, and the owner-operator knows it. That's actually big news. There will be hardly any matches in Bronze. And that's another thing. Like, without the bot farms, I do worry about new players coming in being able to get a match in Bronze. Because nobody wants to be in Bronze. So, yeah. Toan says card rental price will decrease. And then, yeah, dude, you do realize that telling people to move out will lower the player base, therefore lowering the overall market cap of the game. You do realize that bot farms have destroyed way more value than you think they bring/brought. We will never know how many new players tried to game and left because of the bronze bots, but I can assure you bronze bots are a cancer to all Splinterlands asset values because of that. Okay, that's Gank. So we do know who that one is. No question, the bots in bronze decimate. Yes, we knew that would happen. I tried to encourage growth of real players while the mining operations declined. So we all know Gank is super anti-bot, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that either. But I do, as a counterpoint to his point here, saying we'll never know how many new players tried the game and then left because of the bots. We'll also know, or never know, if the bots leave, how many tried to come and then leave because they can't find a match. Because, yeah, I'm comfortable in guessing that 90 to 95% of bronze is bots. Probably 99. Because no humans want to stay in bronze. Bronze sucks. And granted, a big part of that is because of the bots. But it's also in a large part because, bronze rewards are not very good either. And bronze gameplay is also not very fun because you don't have options like you do throughout the rest of the game. You are severely hamstrung in just the variety of gameplay, which is the best part of Splinterlands gameplay, is, 2 rule sets and 32 different options for how much mana you have to play, and I don't even know how many actually, I guess from 12 to 60 plus 99, so it'd be 49 different variants of how much mana you can spend. Plus we got 35 rule sets, and you got 2. So that is the depth of our gameplay. And then in bronze, you don't get 60 mana matches. You don't get you still get 99 once in a while, but I don't think I've ever seen anything between 50 and 60 in bronze. So you're just severely hamstringing the amount of variability and variety in between matches, and that is a big part of why bronze sucks as well. And the bots leaving is not going to fix that. Then there's the matter of Philip Doe. The Philip Doe account was holding an account used to delegate collection power in the form of maxed out in-print rewards cards. These delegations would help farmer accounts clear any collection power battles that existed, and they could be used in battles. This account has over 33 million collection power. What happens now? How do we try and get the most right out of a wrong? Alright. Look at Toem Volam. You have enough assets to reallocate in a way that you don't have to worry about operating a farm. Passive earnings, so I'm not crying for you. The best thing to do is just stop operating the farm and transition to a role in the community and ecosystem that is more beneficial for everyone and less resource intensive. And then he said, how? He said, you still have so much assets in that Philip Doe account, you can sell and reinvest it. You have a bunch of options. You can stake SPS, buy packs, buy GLX tokens, buy land. There's so much you can do with those proceeds if you're done with botting. If you're not very optimistic about the crypto space, you can just put it in swap HBD, swap BUSD. You know how to play the Hive engine game well enough. The response concerned the investment and ecosystem involvement required to completely wreck the ecosystem. It takes 2 to tango, of course, and the Splinterlands team is now dealing with the consequences of this, as both founders will have to submit to investor terms and loss of equity of their own company in exchange for capital. He said, you can check on Dodden Hive block and see how much I spent in Hive. Is that enough? I know, you took out a D lease. I don't know what they're talking about there. If anybody can kind of shed some light on that. Last chance to do something right. I'm just saying you have decisions to make and you can still generate passive income without the botting operation. Okay, I will consider your advice. For sure, these cards aren't good and that's why I didn't sell them. Okay. I'm not one to agree that any card isn't good. There are cards that aren't good in certain circumstances, but every card is good. We cannot turn back time, but we can at least try to salvage the situation so that the community can actually benefit in the end after so much was extracted. While the A-Team is not the only bot farm, they are the largest and most impactful. Other bot farms will feel the pinch eventually as the business model will be harmed by further rewards nerfs and eventual KYC measures. Asking for capital and bringing in new investors means there are conditions to the money, especially in this environment. There will be capitulation. Whew. Okay. So, thoughts from the community. I'll go through some of the comments. Crypto Ace, I know that name. Glad you caught this, Cruton. Not sure what to think. Is he quitting because it's not worth it anymore, or that he is feeling guilty for ruining the game? It's definitely not that last part. I'm not one to sit here and throw stones and say that bot farms are ruining the game. They're part of it. There is no one thing that is solely responsible for this. Whatever the reason, seems like changes to the game are working. Hope at least new players stand a chance now if all the bot farms are leaving. This is such a fun game. Hate seeing it ruined by bad actors. Perhaps you will take your advice and contribute instead of just taking. We need to kill reward shares for rented cards. I know at first you think, oh no, that will kill the game. In my opinion, it won't. By this time next year, you won't be able to rent cheap cards anyway because they will all be on land, so all these rent-only players and bots will be gone out one way or another. If we do this, the massive amount of SPS in the reward pool will only go to asset holders that are actually playing the game. You will still have people renting because folks need their crutches, need to fill holes, and they would still be useful in tournament guild brawls. Right now, it's more profitable to rent your cards than play, and for a game that seems broken, this would fix that. Yeah. No, I don't think that would do what they want it to. Yeah. This was by far the most interesting read I've had about Splinterlands in a long while. Thank you for all you've done for us to learn more about this pressing issue. Alright, so actually there was not as much comment action on this as I expected. So let's go ahead and start doing some of our faucets while y'all gather your thoughts is. I did KYC with Splinterlands though. So, alright. To the audience, how many of y'all have done KYC? How many of y'all would do KYC if it were part of getting rewards that aren't bound or something like that? Or if there's some, tangible benefit in the game? And how many of you are absolutely anti-KYC and never will? Okay, so Jim already has. Bushwhack already has, okay. And see, I honestly didn't feel like it would be that big of an issue for most of us. I know there were some people that very much are against it and will not do it at all. And it's like, okay, well, I respect your right to maintain that stance. But I don't understand why you're so against it. Like, I mean, you gotta, yeah. I think that actually a lot of things could be really made a lot better by instituting a little bit of KYC requirements in Splinterlands. I feel like rather than all of this shit that they're going through to try and work around bots and whatnot, I feel like that would have been the simple answer that we could have done a year ago, and we'd be so much farther than where we are right now if they had. But again, I understand the desire to stay away from it to a point. I don't think I like the idea of hard fork either, though, Bushwhack, because as I said, I feel like the bots do add a lot to the game. I understand that they take a lot from the game as well, but the bot farms do add to the game. That whole fact that you can get a match at any time, no matter where you are, in Diamond and Champion, even in Gold, that's probably not as much, because of bots. But in Bronze, it absolutely is. In Silver, I believe that there's still a big portion of it. Even now, it's probably less so than it was in the past, but it's part of keeping that ongoing, because everyone could have what they want with a fork, except for the people who like eating soup. But I see what you're saying. I just think that, splitting the game up like that, then, because I'm sure that, yeah, we would be able to make the forks interoperable so you can still play across. But I feel like actually segregating them is more extreme than necessary, and would kind of bring about its own set of logistical problems. Not necessarily real world problems, but like just how to make things work would be difficult. But I feel like if you were to institute a KYC towards, unless they were eating soup, yes. I feel like if you were to institute like KYC for, I know Matt's been talking about a battle pass a lot lately, and I would love to see something like that. And yeah, if you were to lock that behind KYC, or even the soulbound reward cards, if, instead of, okay, you have to get it to max level and then you can burn it for DEC, but if you don't, then it's just stuck. I don't like the idea of, as it is, you can already burn cards for DEC. So I don't have the whole no, we don't want to have that DEC faucet available, because we already fucking do. Just look in your collection right now. There is no change necessary to make a DEC faucet from your cards. Not being able to do that until it's max level, I don't like that. I believe your card, you should absolutely be able to burn it and get that DEC anytime, regardless of whether it's a reward card or not, because it's not a good idea to do it. That is a part of what, keeps the hard floor on the market, because, some people are stupid enough to list their card below DEC burn value, and that's just an opportunity for everyone else to buy it and make a profit. And when you can make a profit off of burning a card, that means somebody was really fucking stupid. So I am absolutely against not being able to burn your cards for DEC until they're max level. I'm against my music stopping in the middle of my stream like that. But I feel like, having the reward cards, instead of spending vouchers to unlock them or unbind them or whatever, have it KYC. If you don't KYC, they're bound. If you are KYC, then they're not. I feel like that is a very elegant solution to that problem. It shuts down the bot farms from being able to extract value, but still allows them to earn rewards. It allows everybody to earn their rewards and play with them. And if you want to be able to extract the value, then you just have to prove that you're a real fucking person. You know what? I don't have a problem with that. I think that is a much better solution than a lot of the other ways that they're trying to tackle the problem. Again, I'm not on the dev team. I don't have the deep knowledge, and I can't say that I have looked at every single facet of this equation, but it's there. And I feel like it's an option that would be a lot more potent in the discussions that are currently ongoing than it's really being given credit for right now. And I feel like a big part of that is just that whole attitude of no KYC, no KYC, no KYC, just because, oh, it's crypto. But I mean, that still allows the game to be as decentralized as Aggie wants it to be. It still allows to the point where, like he's saying he doesn't ever want to be in the position where he is making a decision as to whether an account can play or not. Well, any account can play. If you have assets, then you can play, you can earn. But in order to extract value, you have to prove you're a real person. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. And I do think that they should be able to be rented and delegated, even if they're soulbound. You just can't transfer them. You can't sell them. But you can still use your assets as you choose. And if that means delegating it to a few different accounts, if that means renting it out, I'm in support of that. I am not a fan of this idea of, okay, well, you get your reward cards, but that's completely locked to you. I mean, I that's the most frustrating thing about Gladius cards. I don't like the fact that right now I've got, literally, I have a level 2 Quora, and then I have an additional copy of Quora, and I would gladly lend that to anybody in my guild who doesn't have a Quora to be able to help improve my guild and improve our performance in brawls and earn more SPS. I would do that in a heartbeat, but it's not an option. And that, I think, is terrible, because it's like now I literally have an asset that is worthless to me. The best thing I can do with it until I get enough copies to level up my Quora again, the best thing I could do with it is burn it for a pitiful amount of DEC. And that is, it's a really frustrating position to be in. So that's a big part of the reason why I'm against just carte blanche soulbound rewards. And I'm not saying that the argument doesn't have any legs to stand on. Absolutely does. There are a lot of good things that would come out of it. I just feel like it is going too far. If it were, one of the Dwayne videos I was listening to earlier, he was talking about if we added on another subset of reward cards that was soulbound, I would be absolutely for that. If you want to add in anything else being soulbound, okay. Anything new, you can introduce that as you want it to be. But stop changing the way things already fucking are and making them worse. We are seeing that over and over and over again, and it's very frustrating as a player who is trying to navigate the system as best as I can and trying to not even extract value, but to increase the value of my account, to move things around and try and play all of the fluctuations within the market. That is something that I believe that we should all be able to do. And yes, that does mean that some people are going to extract value, and the bot farms especially are going to. But again, I believe if there are no bots, the game dies. Like, if there were ever 100% just flick the switch and there are no bots tomorrow, there is no game the day after tomorrow. And I believe it would be that quick. Because if the moment you get rid of all of the bots, there is no more gameplay, because you can't get a fucking match for 5-10 minutes at a time. Like, if you get rid of all the bots, then the only people that are left are the whales and those who have next to nothing. You get rid of a lot of the middle ground. And I feel like that it's just too much. If you got rid of all the bots, I feel like the game dies. And also, that's a moot point. Like, we could never prove that correct or incorrect, because you can't fucking get rid of the bots. I mean, look at World of Warcraft, look at Diablo, look at RuneScape, look at every other fucking game that is out there. Every AAA game that has any kind of items or gold or anything like that, they are all bots are not allowed. You will be banned if you are caught selling gold. And yet what happens? There are bots selling gold in every single one of them. You cannot stop the bots. It's not possible. So stop fucking wasting your fucking time trying. Like, I think that's a big part of what's holding the game back as well, is there's so much work going on that's anti-bot, anti-this, anti-that, and it's like, you can't stop them. I mean, I do support the changing rewards to disincentivize bots. I'm all for that. But every time people are talking about, oh, just ban the bots, we can't do it. If we could, it would be terrible. But that doesn't even matter because we can't fucking do it. It is just not possible. So fucking put your big girl panties on and fucking act like you're gonna fucking move forward with the game regardless, because you're never gonna get rid of the bots. So all you can do is do the best you can with them being here. And yes, we can disincentivize the bots. We can do this, we can do that. We can change things so that the bots cannot take advantage of the system and cannot break the economy. And I'm not saying that, they've never been in a position where they are game breaking. That absolutely has happened. And thankfully, a lot of the changes that have been made recently have worked towards that. And now I think that there is a much better balance. And if we were to add a, not an overall KYC requirement, but if we were to add aspects of the game that required KYC and therefore bots cannot access, I feel like that would overall be a big boon to the game and would hamper the bots. But at the same time, like, you gotta let them have relatively unfettered access to gameplay because they are the basis of what keeps the actual gameplay going. A lot of matches are fought bot versus bot because bots are always playing, which is what allows you and I to always play. I mean, I don't know if it's going to still be on here. Probably not, because I've played a lot this morning. But y'all remember, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I had 6 games in a row against the same bot farm. Why? Because nobody else was fucking playing at that time except that bot farm, so that's who I got matched up against. So if that bot farm was just gone, well, in that same amount of time, would I have been able to play 6 matches? No. I might have gotten 5, I might have gotten 4, I might have gotten 3, or only 2. I don't know, because there's no way to tell. But if we get rid of all the bots, then 90% of our matches are fucking gone. So in order to be able to actually play the game, we have to have bots here. We do not have the player base to support Modern and Wild with 4 different leagues. We don't. 5 leagues. 6 leagues. Novice, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond, Champion. 6 leagues. We do not have the player base to support 6 leagues, let alone 12. And we have 12 leagues because we have Modern and Wild. And we do not have the player base to support that. Period. End of story.